Yos.
Well, looks like, what's up, Brett? Looks like we have, there's a morning crew and an evening crew, and none of the morning crew showed up. But hey, Brett, you're here. So we'll,
They'll come around.
yeah, they will. I like your office. Is that a virtual background?
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
it looks good.
I'm just happy you're having this meeting because for me to get on the other one, it was too early.
Oh, dude, I don't, I wouldn't have been getting on it either. It's 5:30 your time. No way.
Yeah. So I'm locked into this one.
Sounds
Mike,
good.
Hey, brother. How you doing?
good. Long time no see.
Here I am. Wait. Hold on.
You were there.
I know. I'm in the dark. Well, that was actually a cheat picture from earlier.
Oh, didn't know you could do that. Oh, there you are.
It keeps my last one.
So I normally bring coffee to the morning one, but tonight I brought wine.
Yeah.
Baby's asleep almost, so gotta enjoy it. Tomorrow's the 4th. I think we can celebrate. I think that's okay.
Where's your husband?
Well, Bella woke back up, so he's putting her back to sleep, and then he'll be in here. He'll join us. Hey, Anna. Well, I'll just tell you, we keep this call pretty casual for the most part. Um, we've always just had it for it to be a space for people to come and like go through, additional stuff as a group, whether you had questions from your week or I don't know, just want to go through something on the back end, all sorts of things. But it's supposed to be a smaller setting to just answer more questions more intimately. So that's the reason why we started it. We've been doing this smaller call really ever since we've started building. Like we've always done something like this, but it's never been a mandatory thing. So whoever comes gets something from it. Whoever doesn't, it's all good. We don't care. But we did want it to be more accessible for everybody. So we've got people on the East Coast, West Coast, South. So this just seemed to be the most fitting time. And if we need to make adjustments going forward, we always can. But we did it this way to try to be more accommodating. So, hey, Tanya. Good to see you on the call.
Yeah, and mornings are hard for us too.
Yeah. Everything has its challenge. But yeah, so that's kind of the structure. I know last week, like we were going over a book that he was reading. What was it called? Sales Bible.
Yep.
So we kind of discussed that. Really, okay, cool, Anna. Really, it's just so we can kind of talk and see what's going on in your world. So if you want to just we'll keep this call like short tonight too, obviously, because tomorrow is a holiday. And I know a lot of you have family over or doing stuff with your family tomorrow. So I'd just like to hear if you want to speak up about your week and then kind of what you have going on this week so that we can better direct you going into this holiday week. I don't know if y'all were on the call this morning, but Dr. Martha was talking about how she started implementing that Queen of the Bundle idea this past week. And I think she ended up writing like 12 apps last week, which was neat. And if you aren't aware, Galen Hendricks is going to be on the GCC on the 6th, correct? I believe it's the 6th.
Yes, I think it's Thursday the 6th.
Yeah. That'll be one to get on and to start implementing. the only thing I kind of wanted to share to be like an inspiration as to what something that happened to me this week that was kind of frustrating that I just tried to turn around the best way I could was there was this lady who I was booking an appointment with. Actually, we had an appointment. And 5 minutes before, this is a virtual appointment, 5 minutes before, she had texted me saying, hey, is this about, she was just kind of, she basically was telling me she didn't want to have the conversation. So I just kind of told her, hey, listen, all we can do is just have the conversation. It doesn't always have to be a solution of life insurance. This particular lead was a retirement lead / IUL lead. And she thought I was just going to try to sell her life insurance, which isn't always the case with those types of leads because you are sometimes doing an annuity play. But I thought, oh, I lost this. So I kind of responded to her, not rude, but I was just like, well, it looks like you really weren't looking for information. So that's no problem. I'm happy to kind of reopen the conversation in the future if you decide that you're willing to have a conversation and open to hearing, how we can help you. Like I said before, it's not always, hey, Johnny, a life insurance solution, but and then she texted me back. This was to my surprise. She texted me back saying that she wanted to have the conversation. But I was like, I was kind, but I was direct, and I wasn't thinking that it was going to get the appointment, but it still led to one. So that was exciting. Sometimes you just gotta. I didn't know where the line was with her, so I pushed it a little bit. Sometimes you gotta push the line just a little bit. We used to call it like getting kicked out of the house. Like you really haven't pushed far enough until you've actually been kicked out of somebody's home. But we don't recommend getting kicked out of somebody's home. It's just how willing are you to be direct and have a serious, kind conversation with somebody to help them move forward. Otherwise, it's likely that they won't. So I don't know. That was something that I was initially frustrated with, but then turned into something that could still be an opportunity. But I'd like to hear about y'all's week and what you have planned for the holiday, if you have anything planned. I know Anna said she couldn't go on here for the next couple minutes or so. But I know she has stuff she wanted to talk about. Did you?
How's it going? Good to see everybody. What's up, Brett? Good to see you. This is Brett's first team call. West Coast guy. Yeah. Love it, man. Yeah, I had a good week. I've been working a lot of different lead types. So I've been working some old internet leads along with some old leads that came in for tax-free retirement like a year ago, getting people back on my calendar. So I had a lot of good conversations there, and I had some good conversations with agents as well. So I know, Brett, you had a pretty good month in June, which is great. And yeah, so I don't know if you have anything to share as well, but.
Hi everyone, I'm Brett. For those that have never met me, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay. Last week went well. I wrote a few apps. This week I am, let's see, tomorrow's the holiday. Wednesday I have 20 people to call to set up ERS. I have my leads to continue working, and I'm ordering more leads on Wednesday. So I plan on getting super busy all the way Wednesday through the weekend and into the next week. I'm learning a lot. And the one thing that I've really decided to do was spend time every Friday talking to lead vendors and really working hard on creating some relationships. And so, yeah, I had the last couple weeks came together pretty well for me. I called Jonathan quite a bit, obviously. And then super busy after the holidays, just looking to keep it rolling.
How have, I know the ERS is something you implemented recent. How's that been going?
I'm just getting good at it, but I'm really good at getting people's names and numbers. So I'm actually, Michelle has helped me so much these past couple of weeks. I'm sure you know, Megan, that your mom's been spending some time with me.
And she would normally be on here, but she's not feeling well this evening, but she's normally.
Yeah, it's been hit and miss for us connecting the last week. But I can't wait for her to show me how she handles ERS. I have the idea of it and all like that, but she lets me be a fly on a wall for some of her phone calls. And it makes it really easy to learn. Anyway, Mike, thank you, and Megan, Jonathan. Thanks for sharing Michelle with me. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's been having a little bit of a rough day, so and I know this week and last week's been a little bit hard on her, but she's coming around, man. Just keep knocking on her door.
She loves to do it, so it helps.
I can tell.
She does. Helps her too. So, yeah, the ERS is her magic trick from the last couple of years. Really, she paid, over 40 grand in the month of May. And then last month, I think it was almost 20. And, all that's strictly from current clients and ERSs. But, those ERSs come from her current clients. And, she's got to be bold enough to ask the question, and it's not necessarily comfortable, but the way that she poses it makes a whole lot of sense. And then when you call those customers, it's not a sales call. And if you come across that way, people appreciate and notice that. I think that's kind of how she gets so much business, just from listening to her from all these years, is just being that person that people can call, and not coming from that I'm going to sell you a policy place, especially with those ERSs, because those are your customers' people. You don't want to ruin that relationship, but it makes that business so sticky. It's incredible. So I'm glad that you're using it.
I found that I just tell people, for these people, that if anything happens to you, I need 5 of the closest people to you, not all your sons and daughters, all calling me at the same time, so that I could get this taken care of for you. And I'm getting 5 names and numbers. I'm sure Michelle will tell me to get 10 when I talk to her.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. So I got part one nailed down. I'm ready for part 2.
The key is always ask for more than you think you'll. Most people get caught up on, like, I'm going to ask for what I think I can get. And it's really ask for more and then land at what you thought. That's what really happens. She'll go for 10 every time.
It's like offering the high, the medium, and the low. People always go for the one that's in the middle more times than not.
I will say this too, because we're talking about the week. I really learned this week I told Jonathan about this, to offer price points as opposed to the amount of insurance. And that's really working out well for me too. I don't know how I didn't hear that 5,000 times before.
Yeah,
but
you heard it now. But it's crazy. When you stop and think about it, everybody wants. Like, I want a Lamborghini. I can afford a Mazda. So that's you got to talk the price point. I'm not even sure I can afford anything these days. All these prices are ridiculous for cars. But that's the mindset really is about it's price point. And then helping them understand why that is a great solution for them today. And then that's how you set up for the annual reviews and other things, because change every single year.
I'm noticing that people like spending $100 a month. A lot of my deals say 100 now.
Well,
So,
that's funny because that is the national average. It's $85 per per deal. And of course you're going to have your higher ones, you're going to have your lower ones, but that's that's reasonable. People see that as reasonable.
right.
Unless they
Well,
have a huge other reason why to have more. Yeah.
well, when I tell somebody $100, and I'm not going to tell them like this, is going to get you $140,000 worth of insurance, it just seems to work a lot better than trying to do okay, if you want 200,000, it's going to cost you this much. If you want 250, it's easier to just come up with that number. And if they want to go higher from there, let them.
Yeah. They'll tell you.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the like talking about this stuff, the ERS and being on calls and picking up things from, because look, I mean, I'm constantly learning stuff now, even though I've been doing the business for 8 years, right? And that's the beauty of it, is sometimes when you learn something, you're just reminded of why it works well, right? But I think the mindset behind it is you're just becoming a full service, well-rounded agent when you have the mindset of like just letting people know, like, hey, I'm setting up this ERS for you. Here's the reason why, right? Like, I'm serving you and your family. And I'm also letting you know, like, how I can help you by not directly saying that. You're doing that, right? Like, I'm going to call them, give them my information so they actually know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So you're building a foundation for people to contact you down the road as you turn in business, right? And so I was reminded of that this week, and I know that, you know what I mean? So I've known that the whole time. I've heard it, but we all need reminders, right? Same with the price point stuff. So that's good, man.
If you don't know what we're referring to, Tanya and Anna, with the ERS, just go back to the boot camp. Belle and my mom did I think like a 45-minute training on how to get the ERS and what an ERS is, but it's basically just a way to help us get referrals from the clients that we're already helping. But we can go into more detail about it. Just go watch that video first so you can have an understanding of what it is, and then. But Tanya,
that is our response system.
Yes. Yep.
They did have that was a good video. They both kind of had the same end result, but they had their processes were a little bit different. And so what was really good to see about the way they had, I think Belle went first and then Michelle went second, was to see how each individual tweaked it for their own personality. Because I sometimes whenever people do scripts, they really can't get away with saying everything some other people can get away with saying. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have that polish or that confidence, and they come across as canned and fake. And I think it's really good to see two people say, okay, so we just adjusted a little bit to our own personalities, but we're both successful.
Absolutely.
It gives people more confidence to say, you know what, I can put a little bit of myself in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not.
And you should, because
I'm not Belle. I'm not Michelle Alleman. Like, I'm not who, and they can't be me either. And that's okay.
Right.
You know? I mean,
yeah, I mean, we use the examples as a way to understand the concept, but then you apply it and you have to be you. Otherwise, you're right. You come out totally fake and people will never, But if you have trouble with actually closing it, I've noticed that using the same word tracks, not necessarily the same inflections, but the same words, like use it as your own words and your own inflections, the way that you say it. Like Jonathan talks very different than I do. He talks very low, very slow, like calm. I'm a little bit more like fast, higher pitched. So I've just noticed that using the same words will help you actually close it, but obviously be you.
Right.
With the important stuff, not all the same words, of course, but the important parts of what you're doing. I know Brandy too. She's been killing it in ERSs. I think, I don't know. You'll have to correct me, Brandy. I know I'm going to mess this up, but did you submit like $6,000 last week off of ERSs?
No, it's this week. Well, last week, what I turned in today was 2,200 or something like that, 2,232. And it was 9 apps, and they were all ERS.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was. And then this week, I'm supposed to do 8 or 9 more of ERS from a different family. So it's good. Yeah, Michelle taught me what to say on the send the text out, and in the appointment, what to say to the client, and then send the text, and then what to say on the phone with the referral. Yeah, the family. Sorry, I'm walking my dog.
No, you're good.
But yeah, it was. And then I think what I heard Michelle, it's good to hear it over and over, because last week she said she went over it again, and she just put this one. Maybe I didn't hear it the first time. It was one little sentence, and it changed everything. And so that one little sentence was at the end. Oh my goodness! I usually just kind of hang on. The one little sentence at the end was, if you need to use me as a resource for your policy, or to do a policy review for you all, like I did for your parents, 8 years, I've been their agent for 8 years, kind of like that. I mean, I'll be glad, just call or text me anytime. And they'll right there, they'll be like, okay, well, I'm looking for, whole life or term, or then they'll just tell me right there, So that was one thing that changed when just that one sentence, started adding that. So it was good.
That's good.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm all over the place. It's been a long day.
Good. No, you're fine. If you hear a loud sound, it's probably just a firework.
Oh, okay.
It just happened outside of our window, and I'm like, you're walking your dogs. It just happened again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here they'll go till midnight, where I'm kind of out in the country more and not in the suburbs. And they were going till 1 a.m. last night. So
where is everybody, by the way? I know y'all know, well, maybe you don't. We're in Houston. Brandy's in Nashville. Brett's in Riverside, California.
I'm in Dallas.
Okay, awesome. Anna?
Southwest
Florida.
Yeah.
Myers. Yeah. Cool. So we're all over the map tonight. Okay, I wanted to give Anna an opportunity to I wanted to speak about her case tonight, if you guys are open to that. She had this happens to all of us, right? We're like, y'all don't know what happened yet, but I'll kind of give you basic, like someone tells us their health, their age, all this stuff. And then we go to apply them, and we've all gotten that email, right, where it comes back and it's like, decline due to, and you're like, what the heck? Why didn't they freaking tell me this? And I wanted to kind of help guide her on what to do next, but I felt like it would help everybody here too. So, Anna, would you mind just kind of telling, not the whole story, but just the client, what they originally told you, and then what happened, and then we can kind of talk about, we can figure out what you can write next.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got this client that was referred over to my mom, just somebody that she knew back in Connecticut. And she was looking for coverage, about 100,000, I would say. And so we, based off the information that she gave me, she was mentioning that she had systemic lupus and psoriasis. So based off that information, I put into the insurance toolkits and found the carriers that would accept her. And I went over it with Megan as well. So we found 2 carriers that we can stack for the amount of coverage that she wants. Mind you, she's about 50-51, so very seldom coverage that she can really get because of it. And then when we were putting in for the applications, or no, after we put in the applications for the for one of the companies, I got to speak with two of her children that were going to be beneficiaries. And one of her kids had mentioned or corrected her when she was explaining, she had psoriasis, that it's not pronounced psoriasis, it's pronounced cirrhosis, which is something completely different. So when I got an email from one of the companies that we submitted in, I had already submitted in with the systemic lupus and psoriasis diagnosis. So they came back saying, due to their database and what they pulled up, she was declined. So I brought it up to Megan and explained to her what had happened. So we ended up finding other carriers that will potentially be able to cover her with the cirrhosis and systemic lupus, which she just texted me. She does want to go with the guaranteed issued companies that we had talked about. So she'll be doing the 25 with one and 20 for the other.
Okay.
So yeah.
So it's not always, I know this has happened to every single one of us. Like it's actually not a bad thing when you get a decline, but it's like, oh, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah.
We reacted really well by just saying like, what do we do now to get her coverage? But yeah, somebody with lupus and cirrhosis, just both of those things, like you can put this stuff into the toolkit. And like you said, I know a lot of us use the toolkit and it's awesome because it just tells you what carriers to write and then it'll actually quote it too. But what carriers did you guys choose to go with next?
Great Western for 25 and AIG for 20.
Okay, perfect.
Both issued products.
Right. Okay. I think it's opposite of that, right? AIG you can do up to 25. Great Western you can do up to 20, I believe.
I didn't see AIG, but I'll check again.
Am I wrong, Brandy?
Oh, I don't know. I'm learning here.
Oh.
I didn't know about that.
Okay.
25 with both.
I didn't know. Oh, you mean on guaranteed issue?
I'm sorry. I thought guaranteed issue. I'll check it right now. I'll check it right now, just so you know. But I just wanted to kind of say like that stuff happens. I know it's happened to every single one of us on here. Yeah, 25 with AIG. You can do.
Perfect. I didn't even know. I just thought it was up to 20. I didn't check for that one. I did check with Great Western because I opened their product information and it said up to 25. So
okay. Yep, you can do up to 25 for both. So boom, yeah.
Okay. Perfect. I'll let her know to see if she wants to do 25 for both. There was also one thing I wanted to ask because when I put in the toolkit for the cirrhosis, it pops up two options. It says cirrhosis stage A or B, and then there's another one that says stage C. Mm-hmm. Would that be a difference in like price or like eligibility or?
No.
Okay.
Not in this case.
Awesome.
On the AIG, how do they get the client to sign? Is it voice signature? Is it a security question?
So
or is it
it's actually only by email.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the guaranteed issue, it is only by email.
And then Michelle just informed me that FLAC is changing. They're not doing security questions anymore. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
it's the same thing though. You can text the client and they
okay.
It's the same thing.
It is the same thing. It's just a code number.
They just have to open a text message.
Yeah. So the older clients will have to.
Yeah, it's still very much user friendly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be that way for CVS and AFLAC.
Okay. Yeah, because I've done the Great Western and I like them. It's just twice I had to redo the voice signature, which, the client was understanding. But I think the first time I didn't hit the pound, but the second time I accidentally hit the back button. So don't do that. So
blame the technology, Brandy. Blame the technology.
I will. Well, what it did is, it was the technology. They messed up their page.
Sometimes it just means it's the user of the technology, but I just go ahead and blame the technology. I must have been something wrong. They had a blip or something.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm going to pass out because I'll keep talking on that voice signature. And And I'm like, don't take a breath in between. And I'm like, the end, I'm out of wind. They're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I just had to read that whole paragraph.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Anyway.
Well, I want to land the plane. Oh, sorry, Brett. What were you going to say?
You know, I've had quite a bit in my limited experience with this. The first policy I ever sold, I've told you guys, he died and he didn't get the money because he had lied to me. And I have had a love-hate relationship with this, and I've tried to get better at it. I come at people like 4 different angles trying to get the information. But I sold this, we set up this policy for this lady last week, and she had a whole list of health problems, and she got declined. And I underwrote this correctly, talked to Jonathan about it, and I'm like, how could she get declined? John says, call CVS. You could find out. So I called. 6 months earlier, she had a cerebral hemorrhage, and she didn't tell me about it. And when I call her back, she has a migraine. No wonder. Anyway, we ended up setting her up with a modified policy and an accidental death policy. But it's like, no matter how hard I try. And then what I also noticed, and I even use what Jonathan says, if they have to do it, I'm like, okay, these people have no sense of humor. If you tell them anything you haven't told me, I mean, you're going to be opening up a whole can of worms. So just think about our conversation and kind of, I try, and nope. I had 3 phone calls in a row one week. It was a horrible week. All 3 of them got declined. All 3 of them were talking about things they didn't disclose to me. So, yeah, I just try to get better at asking, you know.
Yeah. And then coaching them like, hey, and I wish I know you did, but don't say, you know, they don't need to know everything. Listen carefully. Only answer the questions that they ask you. That's why we really like writing CVS and Aflac, because they will tell you what it is. So can't hide anything from us now. I'm just kidding.
It's the only way that you get better. And like, you know, this call is to be here to discuss some stuff that, you know, more intimate than a larger team call, right? And like calling, you know, personally or texting. But yeah, I mean, it's happened to all of us, dude. Like, I've submitted so many policies that way, and I'm like, I asked you all a question.
The good news is
there's always a solution. So like, something you can add moving forward that's helpful is, you know, letting people know, like, hey, this is the best option based on what you're telling me. We don't know what's coded on your report. We really don't. Like, I mean, we can do our best to, you know, I'm asking you, but if they decline you, it's not a big deal. We're going to go with another company. Okay. But we're going to try with this one. And that kind of helps set you up to let them know, like, hey, if this was declined, they're okay with moving forward with another application. So yeah, just part of it. So.
All right. I'll land the plane. Happy 4th. Cheers.
Happy 4th.
Go watch some fireworks. And we'll see you guys. Yeah, be safe. We'll see you guys on Wednesday morning on the DCC. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody.